Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff is facing an impeachment process that has begun after the leader of the lower house of Congress in Brazil has decided to go into this procedure, Nick. And this comes after months, many months, if not years of protest. Millions have come out in the cities and the countryside in Brazil asking for Dilma's impeachment, her dismissal as president because of the corruption. Mainly at the heart of it is the Petrobras scandal of kickbacks that we were talking about for many of the segments that we do. Now, we have an economy in Brazil that is shrinking, listen to this, 1.7% every quarter. It's smaller, 6% smaller from 1 year ago. So after being in a growth mode with Lula da Silva, Dilma Rousseff comes in, tries to match that, fails, the corruption scandal blows in her face, and on top of that, the environmental problem that is happening in the mine, contaminating the city, the Olympic Games and the protest, it's a big mess. And finally, Eduardo Cunha is facing the problem and saying no more, we're going to impeach Dilma Rousseff.
I mean, I think for a lot of people it was really only a matter of time. I mean, we've seen the really sad numbers as far as her approval rates throughout the country of Brazil for a lot of people. But you mentioned the environmental disaster, and I think that too, I mean, that really highlighted all the bad that she's done up until this point, because all of a sudden we saw her, she kind of had her George Bush Katrina moment. She went over with the helicopter, she was looking out, and she kind of vowed to find the people who were responsible, these corrupt officials who had no backup plan, had no actual way to deal with an emergency. And people were saying, wait, you're going to be the one to like look after these people who are corrupt and not doing their job right? So that just made the whole thing much worse.
Yeah, and you talk about corruption, and the problem in Brazil is so deep that even Eduardo Cunha, the leader of the lower house of Congress, who is bringing forward the impeachment process, himself is facing corruption charges. He's accused of having a secret bank account in Switzerland that has not been reported to the authorities. So now you add another political scandal type of vendetta because he needs the support of the official party and he's not getting it in his own corruption charges. So when he didn't get the support of the official party, he decided to move on and do this impeachment process, which is a technical move, a politician move, but again, it also supports what many millions have said in Brazil, that Dilma Rousseff needs to get out, people being displaced, so the government can build infrastructure for the World Cup and for the Olympics, and these people is not going to enjoy this infrastructure. The quality of the water for the people that is going to compete in the Olympics is really, really poor. It's actually dangerous. And again, we see Dilma Rousseff trying to put together an emergency response, but this seems to be the end of the rope for her. What do you think?
I think it might. It really might be. Look, I mean, it wouldn't be fair to blame everything on her. I mean, Brazil has a lot of problems, environmental as well as economic. Although she definitely played a part in that, it's a very complicated situation. And I think, yeah, a lot of the blame goes on her, but not everything, right?
Yeah. After 39 members of the government have been indicted in the Petrobras scandal, Dilma Rousseff, the president, is facing impeachment after the leader of the lower house of Congress decided to move forward on this process.